للأسف الشديد الاعتداءات تبع القيام الصهيوني، الجيش تبع القيام الصهيوني ضد الشعب اللبناني، ضد الدولة المستقلة اللبنانية وضد السكان، خاصة ضد السكان جنوب لبنان. هذه جريمة حرب، هذه جرائم حرب. هذه الحرب هي نتيجة غفت الصهيوني بالاعتراف بالحقوق الوطنية الفلسطينية في فلسطين، وبالإضافة هم بينفذوا حرب ضد المسلمين ضد الفلسطينيين في غزة وفي الضفة الغربية وفي القدس الشريف. وبالإضافة هلا بدهم يحتلوا جنوب لبنان. الهدف تبعهم هي كل المسلمين كل العرب سوف يكونوا تحت السيطرة تبعهم. أولا نحن ندين الاختطاف الحكومة الشرعية الفلسطينية اللي هذول الممثلين الشعب الفلسطيني نجحوا بالانتخابات الأخيرة للمجلس التشريعي الفلسطيني. نعم. وهذه الانتخابات كانت قانونية تحت السيطرة تحت إشراف تبع مراقبين دوليين. وهذا الاختطاف تبع الممثلين ابناء الشعب الفلسطيني هو غير شرعي وضد القانون الدولي. انا شخصيا انا استقبلت مع رئيس المجلس التشريعي الاستاذ عزيز دويك الله يحييه. هو حكى معنا اللي ابناء الشعب الفلسطيني بشكل خاص وكل المسلمين فيش عندهم اي شيء ضد اليهود بشكل عام.
Observers have recognized, who've looked into this, is based on the fact that they're upholding practices from the Talmud which are abhorrent to the Torah and the teachings of Moses. They're utterly diametrically opposed, and they would, in the religious dimension, would be described as satanic.
And that's really my whole goal, is to expose Zionism, the synagogue of Satan, which the Bible reveals is mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots.
Most of the Jews in Israel today, the Talmud Satan worshippers over there, are not real Jews. And people ask me, well, who's a Jew? Who are the real Jews? And you know what? It's so that doesn't even matter today, because the bloodline thing of Israel was demolished when the Lord died on the cross and rose again.
Next guest was used also in worshiping the devil, participated in human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism. She says her family has been involved in rituals for generations.
That Jesus himself experienced some of this conduct firsthand, and he referred to them as, the synagogue of Satan.
So we shouldn't even call these so-called Jewish clergymen, we shouldn't even call them rabbi. I call them rabbi as a term of derision or scorn, because they certainly weren't rabbi to Jesus, and never once did he call anybody in the Bible. There's never one example of Jesus calling a man rabbi, ever.
There is one group within inside of Judaism which goes back all that way to the time of Jesus, peace be upon him, and his mother, which is very clearly satanic in that they recognize the concept of Satan, a dark force, a dark being leading dark forces, and that he is their hero.
Does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside you appear to be a nice Jewish girl?
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
I asked him, what does the Bible mean when it says in Revelation 2 and Revelation 3 that in the last days the most wicked and evil force on earth, one that will persecute Christians and bring death and bloodshed to the whole world, is the synagogue of Satan.
One of the things I want to bring up here is also their preoccupation with murdering large numbers of non-Jews, or as they refer to us as goyam cattle. They take great pride and great pleasure in the destruction and murder of large numbers.
The rabbis were all promoted and became commissars and head of concentration camps. Yep. Most of the concentration camps were headed by Jews, and a number of the commissars or commandants of the Soviet Gulag camps were rabbis.
What kinds of things? You don't have to give us the gory details, but what kinds of things went on in the family?
Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to,
Whose babies? witnessed the sacrifice?
Right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Power.
The other thing is that in parts of the United Kingdom, groups of Christians kept finding young Christian boys who appeared to have been slaughtered in a ritual manner. Holes hammered, small holes about the size of a nail, for instance, hammered into the side of the forehead, and the body's completely drained of blood.
And if you look at every government in the world today, you look at America, Bush's, Clinton's, they're all possessed and controlled by these reptilians. And you look at every country, Europe, Canada, Australia, they're all controlled by reptilians. They all have reptilians' possession. You can think of it as demonic possession.
There's much stronger evidence than that, though, Darrell. I mean, there is just the straightforward probability issue here, which is that these deaths occurred in towns only where Jews were living. They didn't occur in towns where Jews in the UK didn't live. These type of deaths were not recorded in centuries prior to the Jews being here. After the Jews were expelled, they ceased. You have the same thing across Europe.
So when you were brought up in this kind of evilness, did you just think it was normal?
I've blocked out a lot of the memories I had because of my multiple personality disorder. But yes, I mean, it's like if you grow up with something, you think it's normal.
They're forcing our hand by their actions, Muhammad. We can't sit on the fence anymore with this.
Indeed, it's not a question of us declaring war on them, though. Actually, what it's really about is us recognizing, people out there recognizing, that they have already declared war upon the rest of us.
That's right, that's better.
They are religiously motivated to doing that. So, as long as they are members of the religious groups that believe in this kind of manifesting darkness in the world, then we have received from them a declaration of war.
Rachel Corrie, American, killed by an Israeli army bulldozer. Tom Herndl, British, shot through the head by an Israeli army sniper. James Miller, British, shot dead by the Israeli army. If foreigners are dying like this in Gaza, what's happening to the people who live there? Gaza, a city under siege from Israeli forces. We'd arrived on the eve of the war against Iraq. We wanted to know how armed Palestinian groups like Hamas would react.
We happened to be walking home late in the evening. As we walked down the road, suddenly we were surrounded by these guys on either side of us.
But that wasn't to be the story of the next 40 days. In Gaza, over 1 million Palestinians live under the gun, and most of the guns are Israeli. The danger we were in didn't come from the Palestinians.
All day long there's been extraordinary action in the sky. You could hear all of these planes going up and down, drones. You couldn't see most of them, they're flying too high. And now suddenly there's been a number of explosions. The planes are still overhead, you can hear them.
The explosions were in a residential area. A precision missile from an Israeli helicopter had just assassinated Saad al-Arabid, a leader of the armed Palestinian group Hamas, together with 2 bodyguards. Ten minutes later, helicopters began to circle the crowd. An Israeli helicopter had fired 2 more missiles at the Hamas leader's car.